Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see some patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, it'll be sunny, breezy, and very hot. We'll see a high around 104. Tonight, clear skies and warm overnight lows around 75 are expected. And tomorrow, more sunshine, another very hot day. We'll see a high around 105. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
There's a buzz in the air at Kansas as drivers fight to move on to the next round of the playoffs. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. He's going to go out of here. The Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is. Welcome to it on a Monday. Glad to be with you. I'm Austin Norman. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet, and as we rediscovered today, the Big 8 Freshman of the Year.
Man.
How'd you forget that, Stricky?
I forgot, man. I forgot. I was looking up, just doing some research on Anthony Edwards, and then I was like, oh, wow, I forgot. I mean, that's a tremendous honor as a young man, you coming into a league, and it was a pretty dominant league around that time, and I just remember that. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Speaking of dominant, Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul taking over.
Whew. Yeah, man. Another week. Not open yet. Wednesday. Go check them out. 27th and Pine Lake. Get out there.
Please do. 402-464-5685. The numbers if you have anything to contribute here to our show. We'll talk some Husker football this segment, maybe a little bit next segment. Plenty else to get to. Then we'll kind of cap our show off with a Husker recruiting update with Brian Munson of Husker Online. But again, thanks for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as Allo Channel 951. These video streams are brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. And hey, don't forget the app, right? Last week we had Big Bird tuning in on the app. That's probably the most reliable, consistent way for you to get all your local coverage here on 93.7 The Ticket. Good weekend?
I had a great weekend. It was fun. Great comedy show, but I'm ready to talk about Husker football.
Let's get into it.
Because listen, we right around the corner, baby. Husker football is ready to jump off. I'm excited. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not smelling the roses, but I am excited to see the start of the Rule, hopefully, dynasty. Mm-hmm. But it is not that yet. But I'm really excited to see. And so there's some unexpected things that you probably wouldn't have thought, which I think is good when you have a new regime that comes in. It literally opens up everything. There's nothing set in stone. I've been a part of a new regime change. It's one of the best things that can happen to young players is reestablishing themselves. Maybe your confidence was low. Now you seem like you get a fresh start. And that's what's happening with Husker football. They had their second scrimmage, and once again, it looks as if, but then we're talking about what is the motto?
1% better.
1% better. With 1% better, we look that there was some improvements on the offensive side. That's that 1% better model. Mm-hmm. They're still not there, but they think that there's some things with Jeff Sims that are starting to turn around. They were really, when they came into it, they were really looking at his turnover situations, which happened to be one of the highest in the NCAAs at that time. Mm-hmm. So they really wanted to correct that. And now we look at a second scrimmage. The defense looks like they're still leading the charge at this point. I think that's something to be expected, but let's get into it. The locker room is open. I think it's wide open for a lot of things. Wide open for leadership. It's wide open for opportunity. People have left. Next man up type of mentality. Your turn to shine. All of that is available now. Let's look into it. And what does it mean to have an open locker room? And is it good? What is a good locker room? Let's talk about what does a good locker room look like?
Well, see, this is where I think you and I are going two different ways. You're going more metaphysical, kind of emotional. I'm saying the building's open. The football team walked into their new physical space.
Literally.
And it looks really cool. I think the locker room, though, like you're saying, is open for that leadership. I mean, we have the single digit guys, right? I think those are the guys that you want to step up, whether it's a Kemp, even though he's a transfer, a Sims as your quarterback to take control of that room, Reimer as a linebacker, Hutmacher, Piper in the trenches. Any of those guys, I think, are a good start because they were voted on by their peers. It wasn't a coach's decision. It was, these are the guys that the locker room respects. So it's up to those guys really strict to not necessarily worry about the big picture, but also keep it in the back of their mind that what they do this year, they're the first ones to occupy this space with this team, with this coach. What they do this year, whether they want it to or not, sets the foundation moving forward. And like you said, you've been a part of those locker rooms where it is open. Someone has to rise to the top. And that's where Matt Rule, his assistant coaches, but really those players, some of them that we threw out there, have to be the ones to take the reins and not let any, bad apples rise to the top. Don't let any infighting happen. Don't let any, pettiness or selfishness happen in that locker room. Take it upon yourself, especially hard this first year, wherever there's a, little something wrong, a little violation. I would rather those guys get after it this year, stomp it out early. So that's the expectation.
Well, one of the things that I think as well, when you're talking about locker rooms and the building of culture and so forth and so on, what you don't want to have is you don't want to have a Western type of situation.
Right.
You don't want to have a festering. You don't want to have it's kind of like in a house where you've had some damage, whether it be water damage, leakage, stuff like that happening behind the walls, in the ceiling, so forth and so on. Those are like locker room situations that you need to keep your ear to the ground on. And a lot of people, we live in a culture where it's snitches get stitches, and if you tell, you smell, and all kinds of stuff like that, right? But that's unfortunate because if you see something that's out of place, you see something that's wrong, you see somebody that's hurting, you see somebody that's dealing with a situation, whether it be emotionally, physically, of the mind, some things going on the sidebar, similar to like Northwestern, the hazing type of situation. You don't want that stuff to fester because it creates cancerous stuff that ultimately down the line will begin to cause healthy cells of your foundation, your organization, your team to begin to splinter. And that's what you don't want. And so this is why I think it's important to make sure you have good locker room, and also those that are part of the locker room, the leadership in the locker room, taking those positions.
It's important to the physical locker room. What were your favorite locker rooms? What was the setup like? What goes into making a good physical space for you as athletes?
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
That's sad because now that I look at the locker rooms of the day, I'm disappointed. I feel like I got cheated. The Nebraska locker room now is 10 times better than any locker room that I've ever been in, even on the professional level.
Really?
Yeah, there's no question.
Wow.
I would say the closest to it was maybe Dallas, where we had like little TVs and stuff in our lockers. It was pretty cool. It was very functional, good seats, but yeah. Like they have a hot and cold pool. We used to have to throw ice in like the little jet pools just to try to get a cold pool if we wanted to do that. I mean, they have that. They have the treadmills and stuff in the pools now. The technology has made the training side of things so much better and easier for the athletes to allow them to be able to get back. I mean, we used to throw a cold little this little thing on our toes just to keep our toes from freezing when we stuck our feet in ice buckets. I mean, they've got things that you can do now, the leg things that they can put on that pumps the cold in there. I mean, there's so much technology now.
I think it was Michael Rose-Ivy on Twitter that said he thought the iPad in his locker was crazy.
Yeah.
When they, updated that a little bit, modernized a little bit, but it looks like a spaceship. I mean,
Like we used to have
LED
discs.
lights. It looks super
VHS.
modern. All that, yeah.
Like that's how we had to
Yeah.
watch film. Like
Yeah.
they would literally put the film in a VHS and stream it to the similar, to the TVs.
Yeah.
Because we had I think we had a modified in Dallas. We had a modified MD80, McDonnell Douglas, and then so forth and so on going up. But then gotta use the discs. Now it's just like boop, send you an email. You got all the film. It's so much easier now. You download it to think about football too. With the pads that they use, with those nice iPads that they use on the sidelines, they're getting plays updated. Right on the moment. You used to have to get a call down from the guy up top. This is the show of our age. I know we're telling our age. You get a call down and say, yeah, the pattern that was set up, was 4 out, the guy in the slot. Yeah, he ran. It was a cover 2, and, he ran up the seam. And, yeah, we should have ran him on a, maybe a post corner on that situation. Oh, okay. So you got to visualize it in your head, but now you can go freaking open up an iPad and see the whole thing developing.
I don't want you to kick the kids off your lawn. Do they have it too easy, or is it good that we've, progressed that far to where the locker room's
I think it can be good. It could also be lazy when you got guys like Kyler Murray and, Zion Williamson and guys like that who are not taking advantage of the best uses of the technology. But that's all good. That's either fine or dandy. But let's keep going on, because I know we got to get to a break. But I want to get over to talking about the depth chart, because there's one that's interesting to me the Husker depth chart. And that's at the running back position. Some of us may have thought it might have been Ramir Johnson. Others may have thought it would have been Anthony Grant. But somebody who we knew was a tremendous piece of the running back room got injured, was tracking, to be the guy, and then something would happen and kind of lost favor at some point, got in, but he still looked tough. And that's Gabe Ervin. It looked like Gabe Ervin has secured the RB1 in the depth chart. And then there's something that's kind of interesting as far as the defensive end positions, where we got Cam Lenhart and Blaise Gunnerson, who are going to share co-starting. Now, let's start there. Do you think that would be something based on matchups, based on team, based on their strengths and weaknesses for the games that they're playing? Or how do you think that's going to pan out?
It could be. I also wonder if it's just more, okay, let's go through our non-conference and see who differentiates themselves early. If you've gone through spring ball, you've gone through summer workouts and conditioning, you've gone all the way through fall camp, and you still can't name a starter, really, Strick, I mean, you're 10 days away from your season opener. What are these guys going to do in the next 10 days that they didn't do in the previous, 120, 150 days? I don't know. Maybe they can make up some ground. I don't know. But my guess is we see them on a pretty rotational basis, series here, series there, see who's playing better that game. But I assume when Nebraska gets back into conference play to stay for good, one of those guys will have been named the actual starter. Blaise Gunnerson has been on campus longer, has played, a handful of snaps at Nebraska, hasn't been an impact player. Cam Lenhart's a freshman. We don't know how either of those two guys are going to hold up, so I don't want to say, well, watch out for Cam Lenhart breaking down at the end of the year. I mean, he's 6'3", 250 already, similar size to Blaise Gunnerson, but neither of these guys have put together a full, consistent, productive college season yet for various reasons. So I think really it's going to be whoever gets off, with the best start, gets off on the right foot. That's going to be the guy that has the edge moving forward the rest of the year.
You still feel the same way that you felt as we move now closer to the season with regards to the black shirts?
Yeah.
You still feel the same way?
Mm-hmm.
All right. No problem. The backup QB position. Well, first of all, what do you think about Gabe? That I've been hearing nothing but great things out of the camp with regards to Gabe Ervin. He just looks honed in. He looks focused. He looks really in tune to what they want to do in the running game. So what's your initial take about what we're seeing as him being RB1?
The coaching staff loves him.
Yeah.
And we heard, when he was coming to Nebraska as a freshman, mature, pretty good size for his age. Is up to 225, 230 pounds, running a, 4.4-ish 40.
Yeah.
That's good size. That's good speed. Leads you to believe it's a do-it-all back. And again, the coaching staff has absolutely loved him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't proved it consistently again. 57 carries is all in his college career for less than 220 yards. It's just not a lot to go off of. That's where when we were talking about this on Old School a little bit, I made my prediction that Gabe Ervin would be the starting running back, not necessarily because I think it's 100% no doubt the right call, but just because of the way the coaching staff was talking about him.
Right.
What you hope this doesn't do is make Anthony Grant check out, sulk, pout on the bench. You hope that he stays locked in and engaged, treats every rep he gets like he's running back one, because he proved it darn near 1,000 yards last year. I don't know what Anthony Grant's ceiling is. I don't know what Gabe Ervin's ceiling is coming off the injury. At this point, I'm just going to trust the coaching staff to some degree. Say, okay, they're probably seeing something I'm not. They like the size. They like the speed. Okay, prove it. If after 4 or 5 games, Gabe Ervin's not cutting it and Anthony Grant is, well, good to have that guy back there. But what took you so long? We won't necessarily be able to judge it in the moment until we see it come to pass. And Ramir Johnson is the third down back. I think that makes sense, right?
I agree.
He was, I still think, a little miscast as the feature back in the shortened year. Did an admirable job with it. And then last year, of course, Mark Whipple and everyone tries to, make him this slot receiver hybrid type of guy that we just haven't seen had success at Nebraska in that type of position.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think he's going to be perfect as a third down back in pass protection and pass catching, as a change of pace kind of guy. But I never really took him as a serious candidate to start.
Last thing before we go to break. There's been some discussion, like, is it the blueprint for Nebraska football to get back to with an old school mentality? Because what we had a Scott Frost change trying to turn Nebraska into Oregon type style, finesse, speed, run, all this stuff, trickery, slickery, Doc. No, didn't work. Should we see Nebraska start to look towards the Michigan plan to get back to physicality, back to running, back to, moving the chains in a powerful Husker power type of way? Is that something, a blueprint that we need to be looking at?
I still think it's the move. If you look at it offensively, maybe the best offensive line in the nation, a dual threat quarterback who's not going to be asked to do too much, but somewhere deep inside him has the ability to take over a game if he has to, and a two-headed monster at running back. I mean, you think about the guys that weren't starters at Nebraska back in the day, not that I was around for it, but all the guys that weren't starters for their careers. I mean, to go from Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum to Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards is a luxury. That's incredible. I mean, Nebraska has to get back to running the ball with the running backs, save the quarterbacks a little bit, and make their lives easier. But you can also flip that to the other side of the ball streak. When's the last time Nebraska had a consistent pass rush? Yeah. When's the last time Nebraska was able to stop the run consistently? It starts up front, cliche as it is, but as much as it is the blueprint offensively, if Nebraska can stop the run and rush the passer, what more are you asking out of the defense? Michigan has done those two things extremely well over the last handful of years, and that's why they are where they're at.
Great answers to that. We got to take a quick break. We got to go out of here for the second segment, and we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards, the USA team, how they're playing, how Steve Kerr feels about it. Anthony Edwards, he is him. We'll get back and talk with it. 937 The Ticket. We're on the block. We'll be right back.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Tune in this Friday as Early Break with myself, Steve Sipple, and Bill Bush broadcast from the Nebraska Army National Guard hangar ahead of the air show this weekend. You won't want to miss this one. That's this Friday for Early Break from 6 to 8 a.m. at the Nebraska Army National Guard hangar.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Where can you see breathtaking aerobatics and your favorite ticket personalities all at the same time? How about the Lincoln Guardian to Freedom Air Show at Lincoln Air Park on August 26th and 27th? Fly by our booth in the media tent and see your favorite hosts and former Huskers from the ticket. We'll see you there.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see some patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, it'll be sunny, breezy, and very hot. We'll see a high around 104. Tonight, clear skies and warm overnight lows around 75 are expected. And tomorrow, more sunshine, another very hot day. We'll see a high around 105. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. Good stuff on Husker football there in that first segment. We'll get back into it in just about an hour, actually, with Brian Munson of Husker Online. We'll dive into Husker football recruiting, what that looks like as we're 10 days away from Nebraska kickoff. We do have college football this weekend, though, Stricky.
I know it
starts on Saturday.
What is that called? Negative zero?
Week -1.
Week -1.
It's crazy. Yeah, we'll maybe get into that later in the week. But I want to go to the text line here, Strick, 402-464-5685 if you have thoughts or questions. Guilt Nerd asks, Strick, of all your Husker teammates, who was the toughest to go one-on-one with? We'll do this offensively and defensively.
I would have to say it would probably have been Teron Lou. Teron Lou was he was definitely a 3-level scorer. He had range. He was very shifty, but 94 feet, he was like a freaking lightning bolt. I mean, I think he's probably the closest thing I could say to Allen Iverson from 94 feet as far as speed wise. I mean, once he gets it and he's gone. And so you have to retreat for that, but then you're on your heels. It's tough to contain when he gets, the motor running.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that, and I'd say he was pretty good defensively because he was stronger than what you thought. There was some little physicality there. He was very low leverage.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was post up city. That's where I would take advantage. Even in the NBA, whenever me and Teron matched up in the NBA, which we did, when he was in Atlanta and he was with LA, it was post time, baby. I
Check his butt down to the block.
Got to put you on the block, baby. I got to go to my advantage. I'm 225. I got to get you where I want you.
Right block or left block on Teron?
It didn't matter. Whatever block for me, it didn't matter.
Speaking of 3-level scorers, Anthony Edwards has been doing it all for Team USA. They beat Germany in their final exhibition tune-up before the World Cup officially starts. Banged one home on France early on with two hands, just absolutely bodied the guy.
Off the vert. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, eee.
Not a lob, not off the dribble, shovel pass, and just explodes to the rim. On his way to 34 points on better than 50% shooting. That's all fine and great. It's cool to watch. But Strick, what's really stood out to me about Anthony Edwards is something that the head coach of Team USA said, and that's Steve Kerr. He said Anthony Edwards is unquestionably the guy on Team USA. We talked about that going into the tournament. Who's the best player on Team USA? We couldn't really come to a conclusion because there's not a whole lot of star power. Anthony Edwards seems to be changing that conversation single-handedly.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think the way that you see it with Anthony Edwards is Anthony Edwards came in. He was second in voting in his rookie season for Rookie of the Year behind John Morant. You saw it in stints in the bubble. You saw it in playoff runs where he averaged almost 30 points a game. Couple games, it wasn't a lot, but you can see it. One of the things I like about him is not only that is from wherever he's gone, he's been the guy. He's one of the only guys who have had a 40-point game. He's, I think, the fourth youngest to have a 40-point game by age in his rookie year, and he also he had a 40-point game with he's the only person to do that with like 9 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 steals, and without an assist. He's the only person to do that, so that means he's getting them up. But even better than that, what I like about Ant is the fact that when you look at his rookie season, right, 72 games, there's durability there. He's probably played just about as much as most people have in 72 games, 41%, 32 from 3, moderate, almost 80% from there, 19-point average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything stays consistent except the numbers that really matter if you're going to be the leader of a team. That's what I like about him. His shooting percentage moderated in his rookie year, but then goes up in his third year. He's almost at 46%, which is pretty good in today's age when you're doing a lot of range shooting. But even better than that, his 3-point numbers have gone up. So that means he's being more efficient. He's taking better shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then his rebound numbers have gone plus his assist number. So that means he's not only doing it from that level, but also from that. And on the defensive side, where his steals numbers have gone up, plus he's averaged 19, 21, 24. So you're seeing progression.
Mm-hmm.
What you're seeing now on this freaking team is you're seeing the game is looking slow to him. Normally, European style ball can speed you up, get you going, playing more quick, more erratic, but he's playing more calm, more collective. He's playing with poise, and you can see it. And that's what I love about the way that he's doing it. And this is why I think Steve Kerr is saying what he's saying about him.
It's just a huge honor for a guy that, like you said, has played 3 years in the NBA, was young when he was, the number 1 overall pick, and is proving Minnesota right, that he was the correct choice in a draft with no surefire number 1. But that brings me back to Minnesota and how they're building around him up there. What do you feel any better about the Timberwolves since Ant's going off? He's the guy on a team that's better than any of the Timberwolves teams. Are you still worried about how that team's built? What do you make of how the Wolves are, filling out their roster around him?
I think with Big Cat and then
Rudy
Gobert, I think I think Gobert clogs the lane for them. I know why they did it. They went and got him for defensive purposes because of matchup issues. Cat's not the one that's going to want to body and do that dirty work inside, rebound, do all. I mean, he will do it, but he don't want to bang. He wants to be on the perimeter. So I understood why they went and got him. They gave up a lot to do it. But at the same time, I think it clogs lane for them. I think somebody like Vucevic or I mean, like Joker with somebody like his
Brook
style,
Lopez
even
type?
yeah, that would be a better fit, I thought, for him. But hey, I like I say, I get it. Does that change the dynamic in the Western Conference? No.
They went 42-40 last year, second in their division, but finished 8th in the West.
No, I don't think it changes. I don't think it moves the needle one bit. I think they're still in trouble because I don't think they got better. Maybe got some young talent that we still want to see. They usually do the best they can in drafting. But at the end of the day, I don't think it moves the needle when you look at the moves that most teams have done. Now you've got Phoenix that's going to get a full season, they got a full off season. Now with Durant over there, Chris Paul, I think, changes the dynamic of what's going on in Golden State, the style that they're going to play, usually that free flow style. Now there's going to be probably a good combination mix of some good pick and roll actions and some actions off the pick and roll and stuff, some misdirection stuff you're going to probably see a lot of. Yeah, man, I think some teams got better. I mean, Sacramento's still solid, but I just don't think that moves the needle from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
The other guys on that team that interest me, Jaden McDaniels is a 3-and-D type of wing. Springy, plays pretty good defense. We'll keep an eye on him. Kind of over Kyle Anderson, good role player, but not a ceiling raiser by any means. Naz Reid is the third center. Maybe backs up one of those two guys if they have Cat and Rudy on the floor at the same time. There's just not a lot else on that roster, which makes me worry that we're kind of headed to almost Luka territory with Anthony Edwards, where he's asked to do so much instead of giving him like a possession breather here or there.
Yeah. And again, it's definitely, I've been there. We played Minnesota up there and it was, I mean, obviously we play Minnesota all the time every year in the NBA, but I remember going and playing the Gophers and it was, it is not a landing spot for free agents. Let me just say that. So,
what would the Timberwolves give up to have a prime Kevin Garnett to pair with Anthony Edwards?
I don't think they have much to give up now. They're over leveraged. You could probably get something from Cat, but Edwards can get you something,
right?
But I don't think Cat gets you to that level, what you're talking about. Gobert expended all their capital, I think, trying to land Gobert, and I think that's going to be a hindrance for them for the next I'd say 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, Beasley, Beverly, Vanderbilt, Bolmero shipped out. The draft pick that became Walker Kessler to Utah, as well as 2023 5-7 first rounds, 2029 first rounder that's top 5 protected, and then a pick swap in 2026. They mortgage everything to get a guy that, like you said, helps, but maybe doesn't move the needle like that. No. And that's certainly a decision.
Great rim protector, but he's going to clog the paint for Ant. You see, Ant's got a lot of, when he's got room, he's banging on your head. I think he clogs the paint.
The other thing I think is interesting about Team USA is the coaching staff roster. You have Steve Kerr as the head coach, Ty Lue, who we let out the segment talking about as an assistant, Eric Spoelstra, and then Mark Few from Gonzaga is in there as well.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty good group. Specifically as the NBA guys, I think it's interesting that you also mentioned Golden State's offense, and that's what Steve Kerr is putting in, at least the basics of it. Someone asked me, well, why would you run your own offense, right? You're just giving secrets away. The amount of scouting these teams do, and as basic as you have to keep it, like he's not giving anything away, is he?
At all. Everything has a wrinkle. Just like most people know what you like to do as far as your strength. Are you strong over the left shoulder? Are you strong over the right shoulder? Are you a fadeaway person? And every time you take what's your strength and add wrinkles to it. So there could be, this is why it makes Joker so hard, because what he likes to do. He's going to get there, but then he'll throw a head fake and then he'll lean up under you for something because you're thinking he's going to do that off the 1 foot dirt shot, or
right.
something, right? Then he leans back there, and then all of a sudden he swoops back up under you. I mean, so everybody has wrinkles. They know. Everybody knows the base of what Golden State's offense is. It's best to run that, but there are always wrinkles that are on it. It's never the full package.
And what Steph Curry does is different than what Jalen Brunson does. What Draymond does is different than what Jaren Jackson does. They're just different players.
Just different players, but I think you add some pieces to that. I mean, Klay Thompson's very good on catch and shoot, get definitely off screens and curls, but Jalen's got a package on him. I think he's got a better package than a Klay Thompson. So could say, I mean, none of them are Steph Curry. Let's just be honest about that. But other than that, yeah, I think I like what they're. I didn't think they would do as well as I'm seeing them do. Let me just say that, to be honest. I didn't think they'd be doing as well. I mean, it ain't started. It hasn't started, but they're actually looking pretty good, better than what I thought.
Real Deal gets started later this week. We'll keep monitoring Team USA at the FIBA World Cup. He's Eric Strickle, and I'm Austin Norman. We'll have a short segment to round out hour one on Gunnar Henderson was it a surprising decision or the right decision in a game over the weekend? We'll get to some MLB news out of Baltimore next.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brent is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brent Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrentExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brent Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Brent!
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly, the perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery, online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite tailored light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nick is here. What'd you call him earlier?
Yeah, get a name.
He said a name. Can you hear Nick?
I said you look like a big swimming pool. You look like a big swimming pool over there. I called you Big Swim.
Big Swim.
All right. Should I tell the people what you called me the second week that I ever coached you?
Don't hang that over my head.
Track record here.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Wrapping up hour one on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you here. What would you do if you were Gunnar Henderson? Here's the situation. You have doubled in the third inning of a game. You've tripled in the fourth inning. You've homered in the seventh inning. Okay. Brings you up to the eighth inning. You get your fourth at bat of the game. Needing, if you're keeping score at home, a single to hit for the cycle. This would be notable, Strick, because if you were Gunnar Henderson, you had the opportunity to become the first rookie in Orioles history to hit for the cycle. So you're Gunnar Henderson. You swing, you yank a ball down the right field line. It's fair. Hits the side wall as it curves into foul territory, bounces back. Gunnar Henderson makes the turnaround first, motors into second for a second double of the game.
Yeah.
No cycle. According to the rules, he didn't hit a single. No cycle. Would you have done the same? Would you have stopped at first, taken the cycle, or even in the blowout, do you motor your way to second base?
That's the thing. You said a key word. It's a blowout, right? So that is something to consider. The cycle is something that is a rarity in sports. Just like the no-hitter. I mean, it's happened more times than we would think, but it's
still rare.
It's rare. If I'm in a cycle with a blowout situation, I yank one. My issue is, this is why I don't play basketball today. My issue is my mind is telling me no. Let me rephrase that. My body is telling me no, but my mind is telling me, yeah. Go, right? And that's my issue. When I hit or I do something or I'm playing something, I'm extra. So if I have a chance to go extra, I'm going for extra. And that's the crazy thing about it. Some people, I don't know, Soderham and Texon, what do you think? If you're placed in that same situation, do you take the rarity of the cycle? Now, it's a blowout. It ain't like the game was tight and the double could make the difference of moving a runner, getting the third, and winning the game. It's a blowout. Do you take the cycle or do you do the extra? I think I might pull the extra. I'm about bigger, better.
No one is blaming him, for stopping with the single. His teammates are rooting him on like, hey, stop here. Get your cycle. Stop it first. Yeah. It's a 12-1 game. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. It's history. But it cracks me up that we're also focused on a cycle when what he did was more impressive. He had 4 extra base hits in the same game.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. According to MLB, they tweeted out, he's the youngest person since the franchise moved to Baltimore in 1954 with 4 extra base hits in a game. A double is always better than a single.
Yeah. And a triple is always better than
a double.
And
a home run's always better than a triple. Always.
So that's what the game. You play to win the game.
Yes, Rico?
This is important. I'm sorry. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. The World Championships are going on in Budapest. The 100-meter
women,
the women. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, probably her last one. She's the favorite. Sharika Jackson, also from Jamaica, the favorite to get second. Sha'Carri Richardson barely made it in on time in the semifinals. Just won the World Championship in championship record time, 10.65. Sharika Jackson gets second in 10.72. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, the fastest woman in the world, always.
Not anymore.
10.77 for third place. Sha'Carri Richardson upsets the Jamaicans out of lane 8.
Wow.
To be the world champion. Again, championship record time, 10.65. Sha'Carri Richardson in her first world championship final.
That's impressive.
There you go.
That's impressive. Well, I
also Grant Holloway won his third world championship in the men's 110
hurdles. He looked great.
hurdles.
I watched him yesterday in the semis. He looked phenomenal.
Didn't hit a single hurdle there. Didn't hit a single hurdle in the final. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, thanks for that.
You did.
America.
Thanks for that. I have to agree. That is very impressive. I would say more impressive because, like most athletes, like for example LeBron, or even more than Michael Jordan, because yes, he was great, but that same pressure didn't exist, I don't think. Now, once you're on top, everybody's trying to knock you off the top shelf. That's like guys like Bryce Harper. That's guys like probably Messi or Ronaldo that are now the microscope is on Mbappe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to live up to it, measure up, and everybody's watching you, right?
And gunning for you.
And that's how Sha'Carri Richardson was, coming out of LSU, very, gifted, sought after, was a prodigy, so to speak, was supposed to be the one for the Olympics to make noise for the Americans on the women's side. And you get knocked down, you get hit with a bad test, then you miss the Olympics because you're not able to qualify, and then you get blasted in what was it? I think it was overseas somewhere. I don't want to say was it the last World Championship? Whatever it was, all of those same players were there, and she got blasted. I mean, it was like 8th place on her comeback. I don't know if it was a Diamond League championship run or something, but it was something of the sort. And then to not only get close to losing, you're almost out because you have to qualify by time. You don't even win your heat. You have to be first or second, I think, to move on. And you freaking pull a rabbit out of your hat to win it. That's impressive. I don't care, like her or not. Some people don't. She's, she could be a very polarizing figure, and but I still have to clap my hands for her because that could have easily, put you in a position to where you're just like, oh, here we go again,
right. Pushed her off course, derailed her, but she stuck to it. So congratulations to Sha'Carri Richardson for that. A couple Huskers competing here later in the week. Rema Otabor will represent the Bahamas, throwing the javelin, and Axelina Johansson throws a shot put for Sweden. Otabor will throw on Wednesday. Axelina Johansson will throw then on Saturday. So a couple things to watch there at the World Championships of Track. We'll get into the weather next. Not just making small talk, but it's a big deal. It's hot out here. High schools are moving practices around. California has a hurricane and an earthquake going on. The fires in Hawaii plenty to get to about the weather. So text line, give us your stories. What's the worst weather you've had to deal with as either a fan or an athlete? 402-464-5685. We'll dive into all that and more as we continue on the block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Summer is winding down, but there's no reason to put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Sign up today for 9-hole leagues this fall, any day from Monday to Friday, starting on September 25th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Call today at 402-742-0140.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build a professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havilah. This week's specials through August 22nd are $2 off 12-ounce grass-finished ribeyes with limit of 2 per visit. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nick is here. What'd you call him earlier?
Yeah, he got a name. He said a name.
Can you hear Nick?
I said you look like a big swimming pool. You look like a big swimming pool over there. I called you Big Swim.
Big Swim.
All right. Should I tell the people what you called me the second week that I ever coached you?
Don't hang that over my
There's a
head.
track record here.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers.
take the quality of venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. He's going to go out of here. The Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Let's get it. Hour 2 on the block. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. With you for another hour here on 93.7 Ticket. Theticketfm.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 951. All those good places, as well as the app. Kurt in Northern Kentucky, we'll get to your weather story. I assume you're listening on the app. If that's true, let us know again on the text line, 402-464-5685. If you're listening, we want your stories of playing in bad weather, whether it's hot, cold, windy, rainy, snowy, whatever it is. What's the worst weather that you have either played a sport in, played a game in, or, you know, if you are less athletically inclined or is after your playing days, what's the worst weather you've sat through to watch a game of, you know, a sibling, a relative, a friend, anyone like that? Your weather stories and sports, let us know. We'll get into that in a second. We're getting into that, Strick, because we can't get into Mary Ellen's for 2 more days.
2 more days. That's okay. We'll get into it, talk a little bit about the weather. And there's been some cold ones. There's been some things that I've had to see. Probably playing wise, I would say for myself, one of the coldest ones would have been almost Hall South game. We were on the road. Cluster and I, actually Vershawn was in that game. We played Bellevue West against South, and it was absolutely freezing. Wind chills were very high. It was horrible. So I would say that would have had to have been the one.
The one I remember was a baseball game. So in the spring, would have been probably late March, early April. We're playing Seward. I remember this. It was the most miserable game I've ever been a part of. I had a hand warmer stuck inside my glove to keep my left hand warm. I had one in my back pocket for my right hand. And this was even worse for me, Stricky, because this was right after I'd broken my finger. So, I mean, I'd played the rest of basketball season on it, but it's still healing up. It's hard enough to move this finger anyways. Like, I was still playing baseball with these fingers taped together to some degree, and it's that cold. After the game, it was brutal. But I don't think it was more than 34 degrees when we played this game. The sky is gray. It's just drizzling the whole time. Think about Seattle, but like 20 degrees cooler.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you that those are horrible. We had outside as well for me was in October. I mean, it was like, I want to say it was October, early October game. And we were playing the New York Penn League. No, was it October? It might have been September, but it was a cold night. And those are the ones where you don't want to get jammed, where you break a bat, or you want to hit at the end. Like, you're doing everything you can to make sure you're hitting a ball
squared up.
Because because the tingle doesn't just tingle during the batting. It tingles as you go out into the outfield, and it's tingling for a while. So now you got to catch balls. Yeah, those are not fun either. And we play in every situation in basketball. I don't recall ever a game getting canceled. It didn't matter how cold or slippery or whatever. We seem to always get it in.
It helps being inside,
which
cracks me up when college basketball decides to play outdoor games like they used to on the the carriers.
Yeah.
The aircraft carriers. Like, why would you do that? You have perfectly climate controlled environments. Don't put yourself at odds with the elements. Couple things to get to from the text line. Kurt in Northern Kentucky says he remembers June 3rd, 1980. Specific date. He says tornadoes came out of the sky during our baseball warm-ups in Grand Island. That's very Nebraska.
That's crazy.
Playing in the country in front of tornadoes and everything. Sure. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that. I think the thing that you just got to understand about California, there's a song out by a group called Tony, and it says, it never rains in Southern California. And I would say in some instances it's true to form, because a close friend of mine, shout out to Rick Riley, down in Houston, Texas. Rick, I was living out in California. I was training right before I went to play with the Celtics, and Rick came from Vegas to visit. And he's like, I got just a bag. I'm gonna stop through, just hang out for the weekend. Cool, come on. And so we're hanging out and we're having a good time. And he had such a wonderful time that he basically was like, I'm gonna go to the mall. I'm gonna get some more clothes, and I'm not gonna leave until it rains.
He's still there to this day.
And he's still there until he just moved to Houston probably a few years ago. But up until that point, he had still been in. He has not left. It was the craziest thing. But one of the things they're going to have to deal with out there that is a little bit more difficult with those. It's not a hurricane now, so it's a tropical storm.
Yeah,
is the flooding and the mudslides. If you're familiar with California and LA and driving up into the hills and Beverly Hills, not Beverly Hills, but the Hollywood Hills and stuff like that, Mulholland and up in those areas, there's a lot of houses on stilts. Like they're built up, but they hover on the land. And if you get a bad, sliding of the land up there, I mean, houses will come down. So that's one of the things they're going to have to watch for is that heavy precipitation that's going to soak that land up pretty good.
You can only do so much about building a house on stilts. I get the idea, I get the concept, but we've seen just even the difference between the mudslides, right, that decimate so much. And California, to its credit, is relatively prepared for earthquakes.
Yeah.
And, they build the buildings a little differently, give them a little more,
I got knocked out of bed on one.
No.
I started praying. I'm visiting a friend, and I'm in the bed, and it's got to be like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it wasn't a heavy earth. It was probably a tremor more so, but it was enough that I got jolted out of the bed, and I woke up, started praying. I started rebuking everything in the room. I was like, wait a minute. And then the next day, as I checked the news out, I found out that it was that's what it was. It was a mild earthquake.
I had one of those in college. So it would have been my freshman year. I'm living in the dorm with my roommate, Eric, at the time. Shout out, Eric. Appreciate him. I slept through it.
Did you?
I didn't feel it. So I had to pull up the story to double check this. But yeah, it was early September of 2016. Looks like it was a 5.6 magnitude earthquake that took place in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I slept right through it. My roommate said he felt the aftershocks. I asked my wife about it. I barely knew her at the time, but later I'm like, yeah, did you remember that earthquake? She's like, yeah, I remember it. Plenty of people on their floor were there. Stricky, I slept through this earthquake. I didn't feel a thing. Is that bad?
Oh, that means you're a heavy sleeper, my boy. That's all that means.
I guess. Another weather story from the text line. James in Lincoln says, last year at Memorial Stadium as a fan, the Wisconsin game, says it was the worst he's had as a fan. Wind chill was below 0. Stadium was half filled. Having to walk to that game from the parking garage.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it was on the chilly side. But this is where, all high and mighty and snobbish of me. Thank goodness for a press pass.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those do make the difference. And parking is, I think that's what hinders me from going to a lot of games professionally, or even parking means so much. Like I used to tell my friends in Dallas, especially my football buddies, I'm like, listen, it may sound bougie or whatever. Or it may sound like, oh yeah, right, Eric. But I mean that. Like the difference between going in the suite and just going into regular seats is parking. You don't get the parking passes, and doggone Arlington Stadium is like, there's really not great places to park. It's like everywhere is pretty bad, except sweet tickets. They park right behind the stadium. You walk in, you go up an elevator, boom, you're in, boom, and out. And that's that was, once I got a taste of that, it's like, that's the only way I like to do it.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, in and out. You got to think about it though, right? I think we went to the New York last year? We went to the New York Giants Cowboys game in New York, and we rode in an Uber, and even riding in an Uber, it was a 6-hour plus process.
6 hours?
Yeah, man. You got the game, and it took at least an hour and a half just to get into next to the stadium, because they're tailgating and then everybody's trying to do it. Then you got the limos, and so it's stacked up trying to get in there. And finding one, I think we ended up walking to the outside to catch the Uber guy on the outside, so he didn't have to come in through that foolishness. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a long process, man.
That's insane.
Yeah.
A couple other weather stories from the text line, couple anonymous texters. One of them says they played in a Lincoln High versus Northeast game in 96, it would have been, in the fall, playing football in a blizzard. I'm a wimp, Strake. There's a reason I gave up football. I was small entering high school. It got too darn cold. Basketball in a gym was perfect. Someone else, 5064, says back in the 70s, he played in a college intramural championship game with 14 inches of snow on the ground, and it was still snowing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's one thing if you're getting like an NCAA sanctioned game in, but my gosh, just give it up. If there's already a foot of snow on the ground and more's coming, there's no way intramurals can mean that much.
Yeah, no question about it. Again, shout out to the folks out in Hawaii. Our hearts and minds go out to you. And I know it's hard at this time, and hopefully now you're starting to get the help that you should have, and especially being a part of the union, that we do a better job of making sure that we keep our eyes on the folks out there and what they're dealing with and going through. It's going to be a hindrance. I mean, the fires also are going to cause a lot of smoke, and it's going to put a lot of stuff in the atmosphere, and it's going to hinder a lot of sunlight, and probably create some other weather patterns and stuff that's going on. We're in a weird weather pattern type of situation right now. Like, it's unusual for a hurricane to jump up as earlier in the west, in the Pacific, than it is
out east,
out in the Gulf and out in the Atlantic as they're coming off of Africa. I think as I've been watching it, there's been a lot of dust particles from out in the desert that has kind of hindered the breeding of the stuff coming out of Africa to send our way. But I think that's going to dissipate sooner, and be ready. The waters, they're saying, are as like bath water out in the in the Atlantic and in the Caribbean and out in the Gulf, and so that's breeding ground for opportunities of hurricanes to get nasty. So shout out to the folks.
Yeah, the situations like these, I mean, your heart breaks. These are people's homes that are, getting destroyed, gone, just like that. Can't do anything about it. It makes you wish you could just bottle up the rain. Not the hurricane, not the winds, anything, but take half of California's rain
and dump
just
it over
put it
there.
over Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, how hard can it possibly be? But this streak is where I think we turn local as well. I mean, obviously you're thinking about the people in California, what they're going to deal with, what Hawaii's been dealing with. It's different in Nebraska. It's just really hot and it's humid. And that's where I think I really have to applaud what these schools are doing and looking out for their student athletes when they have a chance, right? With excessive heat throughout the week, waking up super early for practice, not the best. Staying up super late for practice, probably not ideal, but that's part of the deal, right? So I applaud the administrators for being flexible, moving practices and games, and the student athletes for being adaptable, right? I mean, these kids are resilient. We applaud them for that. We can prevent a lot of issues, right, just by moving practice a few hours one way or the other. So I'm glad that, we're in a day and time where we're okay with moving it for the kids' safety.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's positive. And I think, it's good that they're able to come together and get a good understanding, and everybody's pliable in the shifting of those times. So work to their favor.
It sure did. One more from the text line too. Disc Golf Jake, playing a disc golf tournament. Shocker. It's in the name. Says it was in Fayetteville, Arkansas a couple of years back. 2 lightning delays, raining so hard you could barely see 10 feet in front of you. Worst round I've ever played in. That heavy rain, it's one thing if it's there for 10 minutes and gone, but when it keeps up through 2 lightning delays, which are probably half an hour each, that's a downpour.
Yeah, that's a down, and I can't do it. I can barely play golf in any type of rain. Let's go. I'm ready to get to the clubhouse. Let's sit in there. I think this is probably one of the reasons, Austin, I chose basketball as my sport.
Sure.
The practices and stuff out here in Nebraska in the winter, it was quite cold. Now they have indoor facilities, a little bit better for some of these high schools. But we were out on the field and it was quite cold in some of those practices. But that's probably why my decision was a little bit easier to be made.
Understandable. We'll wrap the segment up with this, Strick. Between everything going on out west, but also here at home, when you look at this extreme weather, a lot going on outside of sports. What's the role of sports in this situation? Is it good to have a distraction? Do they need to be secondary? Where do sports fall, on the spectrum for these people?
I mean, I think it's the same. It's always, whether it be in time of war or in time of, some downturns, maybe I think it's always been a good getaway, just to get outside of whatever you got going on. I think it's been a unifying thing for some people in some communities where there's turmoil and strife and all kinds of stuff going on the outside. But when they come inside, you kind of rooting for the same cause. I think it transcends, color barriers and race, and, everybody wants the home team to win. And as you're a visitor, you want to come in there and quiet the home team. And I think it does that for communities when they're dealing with troubling times.
He's Eric Strickland. He's seen it all through his 9-year NBA career, illustrious careers here at Nebraska. I'm Austin Norman, just tagging along for the ride. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll switch gears to Husker football recruiting. Brian Munson of Husker Online will join us. We'll talk to him after the break.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite Tailored Light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
Where can you see breathtaking aerobatics and your favorite ticket personalities all at the same time? How about the Lincoln Guardian of Freedom Air Show at Lincoln Airpark on August 26th and 27th? Fly by our booth in the media tent and see your favorite hosts and former Huskers from the ticket. We'll see you there.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself a cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. Ironhide Construction has an immediate opening for an administrative assistant in their Lincoln office. The ideal candidate will have experience performing a variety of general office, administrative, and clerical duties. If you have excellent communication, interpersonal, and organizational skills, and are the type of person who enjoys keeping track of all the fine details, then this job is for you. Learn more online at ironhideconstruction.com/careers. Ironhide Construction. Quality buildings and genuine service at a reasonable price.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block. I'm Austin Foreman. Thanks for tuning in here to the show. Glad you're with us as we go to our VIP line brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Brian Munson of Husker Online. Brian, you and I were chatting off air. I was complaining a little bit about the heat. It's 101. It feels like 110. But you were telling me to count my blessings because you've got us beat.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, look, it's unbearable either way, guys. But I mean, and Strick obviously knows he's been down here before. He knows what it's like down here. We doing it in 109 right now. It is 109 and feels like 120. When so last Thursday when I was walking off the field and getting in my car and leaving, I looked at my phone and it was 8:15 and it still was 101 degrees. It is this is my 24th summer living down here, and honestly it's been the worst in terms of the heat and just straight up the rain has been turned off. We dipped below 100 degrees one time last week. Otherwise we've been on a tear that's just been totally maddening. And there was, at that same time we broke that streak, there was a total of 15 days in a row at that point that it did not get below 80 degrees at all as a low. So it's really, really warm. It's really warm down here.
How are Texas high schools handling that? I mean, I know in Nebraska practices are getting moved to early morning or late at night. Is Texas doing something similar?
So yeah, I know that. So like my youngest son, is in 8th grade, and usually what they would do is they would split and do like 8th grade morning, 7th grade in the evening. Well, they have bumped the 7th graders up to morning, so everybody's out there in the mornings now, mainly just trying to get through it, because the evening time is it's outrageous. I mean, there's literally there's little you can do about it. And if you look at the forecast for Dallas, there's just no end in sight. I'm still looking forward to going out and watching a really good football game on Friday night when DeSoto takes on Allen up in that crazy high school stadium up there in Allen, Texas. But I will be hydrated. I will certainly be hydrated and hydrating as we go through that stuff, because it's just outrageous right now. But yeah, they've been moving to the mornings, but pretty soon these games are going to start kicking up on Friday night. So hoping for everybody else out there that's involved that it starts cooling down quick.
You saw Kawan Lacey and Mario Buford face off, a couple of Nebraska commits. Yeah. Your write-up on that is on 3 Husker Online. Without giving away the whole article, what'd you see from those two?
I've seen Lacey now twice, and he always impresses. He is, 5'10", probably just south of 200 pounds. He's really fit. He looks like a guy that could really move between the running back and the wide receiver slot positions. And he has the skill set to do it. He's a 10-7, 100-meter guy that has the ability to change direction on a dime. He's got great vision. And I think the part, though, that gets kind of missed about him is that he runs with power. He has an ability to lower his shoulders. He has an ability to, I called it a bowling ball quality, kind of if you put the bumpers up at the bowling alley, you kind of bounce off each side, the ball keeps going. That's him. He has a way of kind of bouncing off of guys and keeping things going and moving forward. He has great hands, they really use him in some interesting ways at Lancaster. When you get a chance to see his huddle this season, it's really going to be interesting to see like where they line him up. There's going to be times later on during the season where that's even going to get like to be a bigger, wider kind of array of things that he's going to be asked to do on any given night. But then getting a chance to kind of see them square off against another opponent, DeSoto is a really interesting, team, because if Lancaster is talented, DeSoto is like uber talented. They have got they got a running back that I didn't even see that night. That's one of the players that I am just kind of dying to get a look at. And they've got one of the best 2027 wide receivers in the nation. They got a monster offensive tackle by the name of Byron Washington that's 6'8", 350 pounds. They got a dude. Supposedly there's another guy that's the same size as Byron that they're just getting out for football. I think he was like a move-in, and they're really trying to get him ready for the season too. But they got another guy that's like committed to Houston, and I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. And he's like 6'4", 330. He looks small. He looks small on their line because Byron is just so enormous. But they got 2 wide receivers that had Nebraska offers. And then you have Buford, and Buford's out there, and he is a really good-sized defensive back. So when they broke out to drills, they were all wearing different jerseys. I don't know if this was part of the kind of like keep you guessing so you don't know where we're at kind of thing. But noticeably he was absent. He was busy getting tape, so he missed a little bit of the warm-ups, and he came out and did all the positional stuff. And when he did, the difference was just basically just night and day. You could tell that there was another guy there, another dude, that he was the dude, and he's 5'10", 5'10" and a half, maybe, really close to 5'11", but he is put together. And this is a guy that basically they put him out the boundary all night long. He was man to man. He dumped off a couple times in the zone coverage. He was willing to stick his nose in some places that I felt like, not every cornerback has that. Sometimes those guys that just are great at getting on guys' hips and taking a receiver out of the game, which has a value. But then you have the other guys that will come off of the coverage and go chase a play down from the other side of the football field, and that also has additional value. So Buford's definitely one of those latter guys. He will absolutely get his nose in there a little bit and go chase down some plays and do some things that typical cornerbacks won't do. He's physically ready to go, as is Kewan Lacey. So both guys, they play in some really tough districts. I really related more to Kewan because they play against Longview. We went to Longview, I don't know, 2 or 3 times with my kid that graduated back in 2020. We never won out there. Those guys that's one of the toughest places to play that I've ever seen in my life. And they've got the Lobos, so they got the dogs howling all night long. So it was really, really, really tough. So that game is going to be great to have in Dallas. But then this game, this Friday, DeSoto versus Allen in Allen, it's one of the biggest headlining games, in the Dallas Metroplex this year. So looking forward to getting out there and checking it out. But DeSoto is absolutely just loaded. They've got some talent.
Yeah, there's definitely some great rivalries. Normally Duncanville, and then sometimes Lancaster will pop up, or South Oak Cliff, and great talent down there. It's great Friday Night Lights football down there. I mean, go down and enjoy it. There's no question. Doggone Allen is like a freaking mini college in itself when you you go down there. So it's kind of crazy, but nonetheless.
I try to tell people all the time. I said Allen is so wild. I think it's I'm trying to remember what the enrollment is of the school. I want to say it's around 10,000. And I mean, literally, the police have to come out every single day to stop traffic to get the place to empty every day after school.
Right.
And it's just this new format, new structure. Everybody wants to be the next South Lake Carroll. So they're talking, one high school per district, and that's exactly what Allen has got. So, yeah, $60 million football stadium or whatever it was, and one of the biggest marching bands in the world. I think it's the second largest marching band in the world. It's like 500 or 700 piece marching band.
No, one other thing I had asked a little bit earlier about Nebraska football, and I really want your good take on this.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about and looking at Michigan, right? I'm thinking about the old Husker style. And do you think that Michigan for Nebraska is a blueprint that kind of takes you back to the old Nebraska of getting in them trenches, digging out, setting and not moving and moving people like you used to, and just power football again, getting back to that? Do you think that's possible with the layout that you've been seeing with the Huskers, getting back to that? Or do you think we've gotten too far away from it with, Scott Frost and kind of the Oregon Duck kind of, slash and dash type of style?
Yeah, I think that Nebraska fans probably appreciate what's going on in Ann Arbor. I know that I do. We're very close with Alex Orgy, who is backup quarterback up there from Saxe, Texas, same high school as Divine Ozigbo. It's certainly kind of one of those offenses I think that people relate to, Nebraska fans, because they are multiple. They have that ability to get behind the road graders and block people into the dirt. They are also very effective, when it comes to pass protection, but they use one to set up the other. And I think that that's always been the case with Tom Osborne. What made the option in that offense so great was that you never knew what was coming at you, and it always looked the same. And they could run, 4, 5, 6 different plays out of that same look.
Yeah.
And, 4 of them were runs and 2 of them were passes. And I think that the same thing is happening there in Ann Arbor. And I think that people might detest, Harbaugh to some extent. I think he's a bit of a special character. But I think that ultimately you have to respect what's happening up there and what he's been able to do and kind of get him on a parallel finally with Ohio State. And I think that they're appreciating that. And I think that what Rule wants to get to is very similar to that. I think you're going to see some crossover between old Scott and basically wanting to get to Harbaugh style of football this season, because I don't think that they have all the personnel yet. But I think they're going to try to be a little bit more effective and not necessarily square peg, round hole it like what Bill Callahan did. Like that night in Lubbock really stands out a lot, where they just got smoked. But I think you're going to try to see some improvement in the record, but I think there's still going to be some deficiencies across the roster where you're just not able to kind of get to and do the kind of things that Matt Rule plans on doing in the years to come.
You fill those holes on the roster through recruiting, which is why we're talking to Brian Munson of Husker Online, our recruiting insider. And tying into recruiting here, Brian, Nebraska football let its current players in the locker room today for the first time. They got their first look. It was revealed. Everything was all set up and ready to go. We hear all the time, that it's an arms race for facilities. You want to have the, nicest, newest, biggest, brightest. When you talk to recruits, though, just how much of the decision-making process is house shopping versus football fit for them?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I will tell you there's definitely a line in the sand of the players that are incredibly interested in the house shopping versus the ones that are looking for or kind of chalk up basically the houses are the same no matter if they're here or in Columbus, Ohio, or Athens, Georgia, or Austin, Texas, or Eugene, Oregon. They really feel like Nebraska's on a par. And I think that those players typically are more of the highly regarded, highly touted recruits. The guys that are going out there, they're able to see Tuscaloosa and see Gainesville and go to all these other places. They know what kind of facilities, those types of programs are bringing with them. The good news is that Nebraska is back on that level. But the bad news is that they don't kind of separate things as much as what they used to when it came to those facilities. So it's kind of like you have to be in that category, when it comes to having great facilities to fit into that kind of echelon of teams. And I think that Nebraska is doing that, so that's excellent. But I think that more along the lines of your regional guys and your in-state guys and all those types of players, they've been blown away. They've been absolutely. I think the biggest part has been just ultimately the space and how big those facilities really are, and kind of the way they had it set up with the inside practice field for walkthroughs and all that good stuff. So I think that there's definitely a group that it seems to be a little bit more effective with. But I think that the other side, it's still as effective because you're not giving them a reason to basically, give Nebraska a demerit to say that you're not there. It's just, that's not a quality or a part of the schools that necessarily that they're using to kind of set the other schools like apart from one another.
Is it more about just not being behind instead of being that far ahead? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's totally true. I think if Nebraska, was clearly behind, and you had this thing where they were, trying to improve the record, and they also weren't improving their facilities, and they were kind of standing still right now, I think it would be really, really, really difficult for Matt Rule and company to go out there and kind of sell the dream and sell the vision. You needed to kind of be progressive. You needed to kind of show that that Nebraska is putting an investment back into the program, that they want to get back to the way that things were. They've done it within the facilities. They're doing it with the coaching staff, and they're doing it all these other ways. So yeah, if they weren't doing that thing and it was just kind of stagnant and standing still, I think a lot more of those players would have left Lincoln, just kind of uninspired by, I think, the effort and what's going on there. But really, when they've had to go back and take a look at it, they've been, they've not had a reason to kind of get caught up on that 4-8 record. They've not had a reason to kind of say, yeah, but there's a new head coach. They've been able to overlook those types of things because I think everything that's there kind of meets that eyeball test that everybody else is kind of doing around the nation.
A couple players I want your take on, Brian, both freshmen in this most recent class that just got to campus, both defensive linemen in Cameron Lenhart and Principal Uman Mielen, named preseason freshman All-Americans. Cam Lenhart named essentially co-starter with Blaze Gunnerson at one defensive end spot. Principal Uman Mielen was impressing before he got a little bit banged up. Going back to when you were writing about these guys as Nebraska targets and recruits, are you surprised at all to hear that they're, potential difference makers from day one for this football team this year?
No, not really. I mean, Cameron Lenhart was, obviously there was all that crazy wild story about, the decommitment and, and Cameron Lenhart getting in a little bit later on in the season, and one of the first guys to decommit after, Scott Frost and other staff members were kind of let go. But Lenhart was targeted very, very early on by the previous staff. They loved so many things about him. He was a linebacker that they were putting his hand in the dirt and playing defensive end. And they found, they had a need to play some free technique, and their defensive tackle got hurt, and Cameron just slid on down. He was like the ultimate teammate. He'd be willing to go out there and do anything that was necessary for his team on any given, Friday night. Now he's willing to do it on a Saturday. He's always been a great leader. That's been the first thing and the biggest thing about him all the time has been his leadership. His leadership is, he acts a lot older than what he really is. He's very mature for his age. So I'm not really surprised by that one at all. And Uben Milan is obviously, his brother's at Florida. He played in really good football there in Central Texas. He's quick twitch, pin his ears back, go ahead and get after the quarterback. I think he's different. I think that's the biggest thing about him is that he is completely different than essentially what the other guys are that are in Lincoln. He's got that real quick twitch, get off the edge kind of thing and get after the quarterback. I think that that's the kind of guy that Nebraska wishes they had two more of, that they could kind of keep the legs fresh and get after him. I mean, I just watched the Randy Gregory last night on Big Ten Network, and I was just thinking about how long it's been since somebody has kind of looked like that and played like that. So I think Uben Milan is the kind of guy that can certainly do that for Matt Rule and his staff, and I think they just need a couple more guys like that. But I'm not surprised. I mean, Prince Will was one of the very first guys that Nebraska was after. Right as Matt Rule was getting named the head coach, that was the guy that they had zeroed in on. Because of previous relationships, obviously getting back to Central Texas, that was a big reason and a big in for them. But I think it's not real surprising because they need a guy like that. And Lenhart, I think he's just going to be this really great, consistent guy that's going to make strides every single week. I think you're going to see the occasional screw up, but he's not going to do that twice. He's going to improve, solidly from week in to week out.
10 days till kickoff, about 25 till Nebraska will play at home against Northern Illinois. Brian, between now and Nebraska's first home date against Northern Illinois, is there anything that's on your radar that you're tracking?
I'm still interested to kind of see how the visitor stuff is going to kind of get pulled together. We talked about it. I mean, you got 24 players that are in the class. You've only got one guy out of those 24 that has not taken an official visit to Nebraska. That's Willis McGahee the fourth. So, you've got at least one official visit from a commitment to come, basically this fall. You got Grant Bricks, who had said before that he planned to commit before his season. Well, he plays this weekend. So we could be on commitment watch or could be looking for some news, out of Iowa to see what's kind of going on with him. Brandon Baker is still interesting to me. He's still planning on coming in mid-September. We'll have to see what kind of goes with that. And I think that, we should all be kind of paying close attention to, when the season kind of kicks up, I would look for a really high number of 2025 guys to be in like right away when it comes to these recruiting weekends. I think it's a really good group of regional recruits, especially with the offensive linemen and the offensive tackles. Nebraska's going to need a couple next year. And there's no doubt about it. They went interior heavy this year. They're going to need 2 to 3 guys that are working on the outside next year, and they have got a really good year to find a good group of those guys around. So be looking for a lot of 2025 names to start emerging and, basically saying they're going to be in Lincoln for those first couple weekends in September.
That's Brian Munson of Husker Online with us here on the block. Brian, as always, we appreciate your insight. Stay cool. Hope your air conditioning holds out for you. Pack that water bottle.
We replaced it last summer, man, so we've got some confidence there, but it's still working.
Excellent. Thanks as always, Brian. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
It's Brian Munson of Husker Online with us. We'll take a break. When we get back, we'll cross it over, wrap up on the block next.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
A lot of businesses say that they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block. Austin Norman, Eric Strick.
Wow.
By Jay Foreman.
Wow.
What up, Jay?
What a day. What a day.
What's popping?
Is Iceberg Slim in here, Jay Freezy?
It's all right. I like it like that, man. It's it's hot as Hades outside.
When I say
boy.
Iceberg Slim, that means it's quite cold in the studio today.
Man, it's hot as Hades outside, man.
Boy, it is. It's sauna proof. I mean, you wear that right now. You drop about 15.
Quick.
Yeah,
you ain't got to worry about hitting the gym. You just got to go for a walk around the block.
Mm-hmm. Have a DP moment, walk with me, like one of his walk with me segments.
Walk with me. You be walking right out of some pounds.
Jay, what you think about the and we ain't gonna be here too long. We're gonna let y'all get to the old school, but what you think about the fake, phony, self-imposing prophecy up in Michigan?
Hey man, it was supposed to be 4 games, then it went to 3. It must got a little bit harder opponent that 4th game.
It's Rutgers.
Rutgers ain't no punk, because Rutgers give you a little bit of problems. I don't think Rutgers would ever beat them, regardless of who the coach is. But, it's supposed to be 4. I think the NCAA turned their nose up at that. So they're trying to do a little bit of it's like serving your time. And then when you get, sentenced, then since you were on house arrest or whatever, then they might try to give you some you're trying to get some goodwill. But, it's if you really feel like you didn't do anything, I ain't serving no time.
Right.
So you did something.
Mm-hmm.
So then it sounds like it was a conscious effort. So I mean, it's
just kind of keeps the dogs from sniffing around.
It's trying to throw some bologna over there and see if they take that. But the weeds in the house, so they some weed hounds. We gonna see if they can get back on track. They're trying to delay it. Mm-hmm. And get it out of the news cycle, so it kind of something else will pop. Somebody else gonna mess up.
Pop up.
Yeah, station ID.
Yeah. Let's pause 10 seconds. Back in a second.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth 93.7 The Ticket.
Something for my boy?
I got a little something. Yeah. Pete Thamel says his sources say Florida Atlantic naming Casey Thompson starting quarterback. Not shocked.
Yeah, that's the worst kept secret in US of A.
Where does Casey rank among the one-year transfers in terms of impact at Nebraska? Like, he's got to be pretty. I mean, he was hurt, which knocked him down a little, but what he did for that locker room, I think, was big.
Yeah. Well, you had Damian Daniels' older brother, who I think is number 1, kind of goes.
I think he should have stayed.
Damian Daniels should have. Yes. But his older brother was here before, and he came from Oklahoma State as a graduate transfer. He formed that locker room from accountability, but he was only there for 6 months. Remember, he was a captain right away. Mm-hmm. Then you Samari Toure, and then obviously Trey Palmer, obviously production base. Casey was good, and he was very productive, a good quarterback.
I think they would have gave him more time. I think if he would have, the line would have gave him time.
Yeah, he would have been doing some work.
He would have did some work.
Yeah. I mean, he the one thing about Casey I liked is he could rebound when he'd go through some lulls in his play, but a lot of times, that play calling and and just leaving the offensive line out there, you're just asking for a beating. And so I think he did well. I mean, where he ranks, probably maybe top 6 or 7. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some other ones I might be missing, but I think he did pretty well. I definitely think he was what was advertised, and that's worth a lot of money, because we've had some that ain't been able to play worth a plum nickel.
Yeah, there's some things that are going out around the circuit right now, and I don't know if I could be wrong. Maybe it's the kids aren't being informed. They're not getting good information. It seems as if there's some fine print in the transfer portal stuff that they're not reading. That's really calling them to, they're gonna have to. They're waiting on waivers. Waivers are on delay. You don't get it. Then your eligibility. Well, you've got that here for us, and then I think there's maybe 2 or 3
that already got denied
in Colorado that same thing.
Oh, they're waiting up there too. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody's going in the portal hoping and expecting to get the waiver. And I'm sure that, whatever college they're at is helping them. But I think it's just kind of like getting your name picked at a lottery, or like putting your name on a raffle ticket.
Yeah.
The NCAA doesn't have a rhyme or reason for it. Now, granted, if you had some issues, like I remember I was reading up, and just because of Gilbert, being at Georgia, and then, man, what's his face that transferred to Ohio State, the quarterback, Justin Fields, his situation was way different because he had an issue with the baseball player that said some racial stuff at a game and posted it, and then tried to bring it to Fields. So that was, maybe like an environmental type of thing. So he got his stuff pushed through right away. Plus it was Ohio State. Whereas Gilbert, I think the NCAA, I wish they would have somebody that would maybe interview the kids, understand or try to understand why they're leaving, and like Gilbert, he needs a fresh start. He's welcome there, but he's not going to play. He wants to go play. We got things set up for him to be taken care of on and off the field. Like, what's it hurting you for him not to play?
Yeah.
Like, if you really are about the kids, right,
yeah.
as an NCAA decision maker person or persons,
Yeah.
tell me how, in this case with him, that you're by him making him sit out, because ever since he's been here, he's worked hard, good student, good teammate. It's not like he left Georgia hanging, because he really wasn't around this. So tell me what you're doing for the betterment of him, the student athlete.
That's a good point.
What are you doing by hanging it up,
yeah,
or possibly denying anybody?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
You got these rules, and then you want to flip a coin. Oh yeah, we're just not going to do that. Too bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. I wish they had a deadline for it, especially if you get it done, all your paperwork on time. That should give you more of a. You should be ahead of the list versus say like you're a late transfer or something. You should be able to know, both for the player, the team, and the whole situation. As a whole.
You see that in your locker room?
I saw some of it.
What do you think?
Yeah, it looked pretty sweet. I mean, it looked pretty sweet.
You feel cheated like I do?
They definitely are living the life.
God darn it.
It's a matter of bad timing, but hopefully they put it to good use. I look at it like this, man. It's something that they felt like they needed. All these kids are benefiting from it, but I just would say, look, this is nice, but nobody wants to have an empty, nice house.
That part, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a mansion that ain't getting the proper use.
Right. Just
make
it with that.
Just
everything in there is real sweet.
At the dump, just a big old house with nothing going on,
right?
But the rent,
right? So if they, look, man, it's nice to have those things, but you don't want to be a poser. A poser like it's like at the hoop court. I show up with Jordans and all this other stuff, and I can't hoop.
You stretching like on White Man Can't Jump, like yeah, right. You stretching like
right.
Yeah,
I'm really doing, but I can't hoop. So as long as they take advantage of it and use it the right way, and the biggest thing is respect it. More power to them, man. Hopefully they take it the right way.
What's coming up on Old School?
Well, Matt Rule had a lot to say, man. He went into depth on the running back depth chart, quarterback depth chart, gave some intel on that. We're talking about the tight end position. We got a plethora of stuff talking about. I mean, what else I got, Austin? I sent you a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, depth chart, freshman defenders, week 0 games.
Week 0 games this weekend, so we're gonna pick those. He gave a little update on Teddy Prohaska. I think everybody just needs to pump the brakes on that. I mean, look, dude, you ain't played in like 2 years. Like, the line is the line right now.
Yep.
Now, if you can get a series or two in, I'm fine with it. We got to roll. Right? That's it, dude. You've been through training camp and all this other stuff. Unless Jonathan Ogden coming through there, you gotta wait.
Michael Orr.
Yeah, Michael Orr, somebody. You know what I mean?
Even Brendan Hymus.
Yeah, hey, where are you? Right, where are you right now?
That's all I'm saying. He's Jay Foreman. He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. That'll do it for On the Block. We got Old School DP and Jay coming up next. I'll be back with you for the Corner 3, 7 to 8 tonight here on 90.7. The Ticket. More your way.
Where are you right now?
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through August 22nd are $2 off 12-ounce grass-finished ribeyes with limit of 2 per visit. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive